What an amazing event this has been. Floor Abundance Inspiration Design Days has been 3 days filled with excitement and fabulous designs. Today I'm joined with Francoise Weeks from Portland, Oregon. She's a fabulous designer with her own style. I want to share with you how she got started in the industry. What brought you to the world of flowers?
I always been very interested in working with flowers. I grew up in Belgium, where flowers are just part of everyday life, and I was interested in working in the flower industry. And I moved to Portland in 1977. And unfortunately, I went from a country where flowers were in huge abundance to in Portland at the time, there wasn't very much available. So I put it on the back burner, and then in 1996, I started my own business.
You know, it is amazing. The world has changed so much with more flowers available, thank goodness to Flora Abundance.
Yes.
But at that 1977, you're right, it was basically a desert for flowers. But now you've brought the Pacific Northwest natural woodlands look, and that's what you're so famous for. What was the inspiration for this design that you created?
Well, I had a memory pop in my head about 7 years ago when I was working on a project with a couple of people. And what the memory was about was that when I was a kid, we used to go to Switzerland on vacation, and we used to go on hikes. And my siblings and I, when we would take a lunch break, we would gather a piece of bark and some moss and some flowers, and we'd make a little arrangement on the piece of bark for my mom. And that was the memory that popped in my head. I shared it with the two ladies that I was working with, and they told me to run with it. And so 45 years later, I made my first woodland arrangement, and it kind of went from there.
I find that so fascinating. And this design that you created is absolutely stunning. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
So I get these beautiful pieces of wood, and I glue some moss on it because it's hard to glue the flowers or the materials on the wood without that go-between, which is the moss. And then I adhere little pieces of oasis wherever you see the flowers here. I added little pieces of foam so that I can use a wider selection of materials. And then I just cover all the mechanics and glue and put in oasis and material in oasis and until it's done. And they're very time consuming to make, but they're a lot of fun.
They are absolutely gorgeous. I always call them a textural masterpiece. And when you look closely, there's so much detail. You'll want to pay attention to Francoise Weeks. You're going to see her all around the world teaching her workshops on the woodland masterpiece. So watch for that name, francoisweeks.com. You can find her and attend one of her workshops.